What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're having a look at Gear 5 Luffy. We're going to be doing a showcase with his brand new Super Evolution. Now, the Luffy you're seeing in this video, my captain, of course, is rainbowed, completely maxed out. So getting able to abuse this Rush Sugo special with you know, the 6+ rainbow damage if you're building for one of every type on your team, it's pretty great. And we've already talked about it extensively when we actually got the data download for this character. And one thing straight off the bat that I said was the fact that you could hybrid up this character with the other Gear 5 Luffy. And after using this character, like, it's 100% what they want you to do. That is the ultimate goal of Gear 5's release, is to have one as 6-star and one as 6-star plus, because this combination is absurd, and we'll talk more about it as we go along. So let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown of each of these characters. So with his captain ability, it's a lot different to what we saw with the 6-star form, as he provides -2 cooldown to all characters at the start of the quest, and then also, you know, adding to that the fact that the attack boost is now changed to also count for all characters rather than just Sai and Free Spirit with the 6-star form. So a 6 times attack boost to all characters when you have a matching slot, 5.5, otherwise 1.35 health, as well as now completely removing Despair. So this combination with the other Gear 5 Luffy, as you'll be able to remove Despair completely, and then 10 turns of Bind and Special Reverse. Just a great combo. Gear 5 Luffy with his 6-star plus also has an effect that makes all type slots, as well as Recovery and Tandem, have matching slot effects for himself. So every natural slot will be beneficial for this character. And then the really neat thing, which is what I wanted to try and use in this video, as you guys are going to see completely how this actually works, as when we have one of every color on the crew, he makes his own normal attack super effective, and then any special that you use that is focusing on a type or a class becomes for all characters instead. So in this team example you see with Sasaki, we use Odin, and Odin normally only provides an all boost to Strength, Free Spirit, and Fighter, I believe. Free Spirit and Slasher, but then, you know, his special now becomes for all characters. Or the Law character normally provides a buff to Cerebral or Free Spirit, but it's for all characters instead. You can just do really cool things with stuff like that, and the fact that that effect is active is really nice. When you're aiming to build a rainbow team, having one of every color, sometimes the team that you can make isn't really that great, but having the ability to make any special work with any type or class makes the team building aspect much more manageable. Now, in conjunction with that captain ability, we need to talk about the EX special, because it also has a pretty big deal as to how this character works with team building. So the thing is his EX super requires 3 of the listed characters on the crew, whether it be one of the Straw Hats, Yamato, Law, Kid, or Momonosuke. And that's one of the big issues here, is because having to build with one of every color, but also having enough to provide this EX super special can be quite difficult. You know, having one of every color and then also having to have these 3 specific units on the crew, things can get a little dicey when you're trying to build a very solid team to take on content with. Obviously, we can use the database to filter that pretty comfortably, but still, the fact that there aren't really effective ways to filter your own character box to specifically search these types of units is kind of annoying. So you do have to use like third-party software, third-party websites in order to like find the right characters that you need. But if you're able to build a team, it's just so good. And you see the EX super special here, 2 times increased damage taken to all enemies for 1 turn. I wish it went through immunities, because oh my god, it would just make it so OP. Unfortunately, the increased damage does not bypass immunity buffs, so if you still want to abuse that, you do have to use other characters that can do that, like Yamato and Ace, or Enmazor, or something like that. But the other effect is also really cool, as it gives a full board of matching slots that goes through block and super super block. So this is the first character in the game that specifically states that he removes super block slots. And then he also locks your slots for 1 turn and then changes every character into super type. So it's a really nice effect here. It's kind of like a buffed version of Goldie Roger in a way. And a lot of people have made that comparison between this character and Roger. And it's kind of interesting at this point because, yeah, this is basically just a better version of Roger. And I will say that Roger is still an easier character to use due to you only need 1 character to activate his super type. This one, you know, you need 1 of every color on the crew, and then you need these 3 units on the team to make the team actually work and make it worthwhile. But either way, if you're able to build the team in the right way, this combination is absolutely disgusting, as you see in these clips here. We just tear through this content. And now we have a look at the character's special, which has also had quite a big overhaul with the super evolution. So now it does 300 times his attack in typeless damage to all enemies. Previously it was 2 million fixed damage. That goes through everything, including normal attacks only, but it was only to a single target. So it is interesting to see how that has changed. And then this really neat effect that he has where he changes the attack multiplier of all type slots as well as recovery and tandem slots to become 2.75 when they are matching. So these slots are normally a 2 times, you know, if you have a matching slot, it's a 2 times boost, right? You get a 2 times boost from that slot. Buffing that to 2.75 is absurd, right? You have a Wano slot, which is normally a 2.5 multiplier, and we've always said, you know, abusing Wano slots is incredibly busted, and yeah, it definitely is, but when you can make these regularly generated slots 2.75 multiplier, like that's getting to some crazy territory right there. And then he furthermore gives a 3 times attack boost to the crew, and then buffs your orb boost by 0.25, but then he says that if you've already got an attack boost, you get a 3 times orb boost instead, and then you can buff whatever attack boost you have on your crew. So there's really cool scenarios where you can abuse different characters on your crew, and then, you know, Gear 5 Luffy can fulfill a different role on your crew. You know, if you want to go ahead and bring a different attack booster to provide another type of effect, you can still use this Gear 5 Luffy to get an orb boost instead, and then buff whatever attack boost you already have. So there's just really cool ways to abuse this guy in lots of different ways to provide buffs for your team. And that's one of the things about this 6+ Luffy is he's not solely focused around these weird gimmicky utility focused effects. This character is basically just doing as much damage as you possibly can. And he does that whilst also being essentially the best version of a Rainbow Captain that we have seen. It is a true Rainbow Captain, as he aims for you to have 1 of every color on your team, as well as providing rainbow damage, and then having a super special that can make everyone a super type. So, you know, there's really cool things going on here. I like the fact that this character is just an absolute monster. He can basically take on any piece of content ever, because his damage is super effective. He does lots of damage at that, and you can abuse any character while the Captain ability boosts every single type of unit that you want to bring, and then also having the ability of changing any special that is used on your crew to work for any type or any class. Yeah, this is as true as it gets to being a pure Rainbow Captain in One Piece Treasure Cruise. But then furthermore, it all comes to a head when we add the Rush Sugo special on top of everything else. So the Rush Sugo special is still actually kind of annoying to activate because you need to be A, at the final battle, B, you need to perform the 6th tap of an attack, so it's essentially a final tap. And then you also need a condition fulfilled of having 2 of the characters on the crew being Straw Hats, Law Kid, Momo, or Yamato. So as long as you fulfill the condition for the EX Super Special, you'll be able to use the Rush Sugo Special. And then the Rush Sugo Special, as we've already touched upon talking about Gear 5 Luffy beforehand, this character is a self-boosting effect, and that makes perfect sense due to the fact that you are the last character to attack. There's no point in boosting the attack for the whole team. You have to attack last, and it gives him at max level up to a 2.6 attack bonus. When you are able to tap 3 separate times with the rush. You do take 20,000 damage per tap, so you need to have quite a lot of HP when you reach the boss stage. But you can do some crazy stuff with this, getting a lot of chain multiplier, and then the finish tap multiplier going to 3 is absurdly strong. When you compare that to the other rushes that we have with the Rush Sanji and the Rush Kaido, the finish tap multiplier of Gear 5 Luffy exceeds those characters by like 3 times. Like the other guys are like around a 0.8 or a 1 times multiplier. This guy just is like a 3 times multiplier at the end. The amount of damage this guy does is crazy, and while we had the previous Gear 5 beforehand, it didn't really make a lot of sense that a rush was like that because it was only good against int characters. But when you have the context of the 6+ and you have the ability to have super effective damage against every single enemy, having a rush special such as this is so good. You know, normally you want to build a full team to have, you know, super effective damage against the boss, but when you have Gear 5 Luffy doing what he does, it doesn't really matter about the rest of your team. If you can just solely focus on buffing Gear 5 Luffy and giving him everything that he needs, he can be your big damage dealer. And even at rush levels 1, 2, or 3, even lower levels of the rush, you can still do really good damage with it. And I'm really excited to use him moving forward in the upcoming Super Boss Kizuna Clash. But with all of that being said, that is going to wrap it up from me. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.